Hey everybody, this is Joel, the accidental retiree here on YouTube. Bienvenidos a nuestro canal. Bienvenidos to another episode of Being Retired here in beautiful Bucerias, Mexico. So if you're newly retired, you're thinking about retiring in Mexico, this video is for you. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe to the channel. You're going to want to stick around for the rest of this video as I take you through this entire process. And you might find in the end, this is exactly what you need in retirement. Most recently, I built a companion app for my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about exactly how I went about building this app for the first time. I have zero coding experience, but I managed to actually pull it off. And honestly, it wasn't that easy. Quite frankly, if I was to describe it, it was pretty well a shit show. I have to be honest with all of you as well as myself, I made a lot of mistakes along the way. Here's the great part. In the next 15 minutes, you're about to learn what literally took me over 400 hours of almost pure frustration. And you'll be able to avoid all the pitfalls and mistakes that I did. And if you're interested in building an app, you're just going to be able to essentially get right into it. So today I'm actually working part-time for Bici Bucerias. This was a company that Jillian and I built, and we worked it for 13 wonderful years, but sold it to a new family from Alberta. So they've since taken it over. But you know, today I'm driving, supporting a tour. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up the tour with the rider. We're going to go check on it. I'm going to meet you guys back at the home office, and I'm going to take you through the whole process of building an app. And again, you're going to literally save hundreds and hundreds of hours of frustration if you just stick to the end of this video. You ready? Let's go find my rider. Alright guys, welcome back here at the home office at Casa La Familia Goralski. Alright, so why the heck did I even start the process of building an app? Let me rewind a bit. So many of you might know that Jillian and I did the Turkish Airlines 6-continent challenge, where we flew to 6 continents in 20 days. And after we did that, both of us earned 1 million Turkish Airline miles. It was an incredible trip. It was pretty wild because, I mean, literally we were in so many different time zones. At one point, we had no idea literally where we were. So we've documented the entire process, and it's on our new YouTube channel, The Accidental Retiree Travel. And some of you may be asking, Joel, why are you starting a new YouTube channel when you already have one? Well, it's because YouTube doesn't necessarily like when we are posting videos that are not Mexico related. And since Jillian and I are going to be doing a lot more traveling in the foreseeable future, and we want to do some content around it, we created the new channel, The Accidental Retiree Travel. Anyways, the long and short of it is we documented every single continent, every single flight that we did. And it was an amazing time. But in order to really kick the channel off and get people excited, we thought, well, let's create a game behind this. Like, let's put little clues inside all of our videos so that when our viewers solve the clues, they have a chance to win prizes. So we thought, well, what kind of prize can I give that's going to make it worth people's while? So we decided to give away a total of 150,000 Turkish Airline miles simply by watching our videos, playing the game, solving the puzzles. I got a question the other day. Oh, Joel, but it's already like on stage 9. It's way too late. We're behind the game. No, don't worry. It is not until stage 15 where there's 50,000 miles being given away, and stage 16 where there's going to be 100,000 miles given away. So you have lots of time to catch up on the other stages and get yourself in the game. So the first thing I did was just kind of create something. I think it was a little hokey, but it was using Squarespace, because Squarespace does have the ability to have password protected pages. So, well, the long and short of it is, and I don't want to bore you, it literally sucked. It wasn't very intuitive. It was kind of hokey. It didn't really give you a gaming experience. So then I thought, well, there's got to be a way to build some custom code and make this a better user experience. So I started doing it. Well, the first mistake I made in classic accidental retiree is I just went in balls to the wall. I did some quick research with ChatGPT, and chatting with Chat, we decided, well, you know what, let's just build some custom code inside Squarespace. Even though Squarespace allows you the ability to do custom code, it turned out to be a little bit of a nightmare because we were always working within their system. After about 5 days and 50 plus hours of trying to make this thing work in Squarespace, I just scrapped it. So the second mistake I made was, well, again, classic accidental retiree, is I was looking for a quick fix. So got in on ChatGPT, and I mean, there's got to be some companies out there right now that are offering AI solutions that allow you to just build an app from scratch with just prompts. So I found a couple, and the first one I tried, which was MGX. I logged in for the free account. I basically gave all the code that ChatGPT and I already did for Squarespace. I explained what our problem was, and then bang, I put it in there, and like literally 1 minute later, we had almost a functioning app. And I'm like, wow. But therein comes my third mistake. And like literally, man, this thing is great. This is the end all be all. I'm gonna have like an app in a day and everything's gonna be great. I got too overconfident. After basically having an app that was 95% of the way there, I literally got Rickrolled. Eric, the MGX chatbot, literally took all the code and replaced it with some kind of generic code that took all my contest data and erased it, and instead made the contest a Rick Ashley based contest where you had to answer questions about Rick Ashley videos. I'm like, what the? So this brings me to my fourth mistake is I really was not prepared. I didn't do enough research. I didn't understand the best way to actually facilitate developing an app using AI. I just thought magically I would write a few prompts, put in exactly what I wanted, and I would have this app that would work tickety-boo. Of course, I figured there was going to be some bug fixing and whatnot, but I didn't think that we would get 95% of the way there and literally I would get Rickrolled. So realizing my mistakes, I tried to backpedal a little bit. So I brought ChatGPT back into it because I thought, well, why don't I feed ChatGPT a prompt and say that ChatGPT, you're going to be my programming consultant. You're going to basically analyze all the code with MGX. You're going to help me write the props. You're going to look at what this dude is doing, and you're going to basically guide me through the process so that we can finally get across the finish line. But here is my mistake number 6. You automatically think that AI or ChatGPT is going to solve everything. But here's the problem. ChatGPT wasn't involved. It was involved in the beginning, and then basically the project got handed off to MGX. And then I did all this work with MGX and then tried to bring ChatGPT in later into the process to try to clean up the mess. And really what had happened was because MGX and ChatGPT were essentially disconnected, it just continued to get worse and worse. My last mistake, and this was a big one, I really was too overconfident and dependent upon AI to do everything without thinking that I actually had to think. Like I had to look at the logic, I had to look at the process, I had to actually look at what ChatGPT spit out before I gave it to Copilot, which is running in Visual Studio. Many times you'll see something in there and then you have to question it. So as I was saying earlier, when you have your relationship with ChatGPT is your main consultant, but you have to talk back and forth. Like there's still some, we still have a purpose as humans. Eventually that's going to change where we won't have to do anything. It'll be like basically build this app and AI won't need us at all because literally they will just be perfect by that point. But we're not in the point where AI is completely perfect. So you have a very important job when it comes to just questioning what AI is pushing out. And it comes down to like the little things, and I'll give an example. And this is a really quick example. I still want to keep this video pretty tight. ChatGPT might spit something out to me, and in that code, there's something in the code that says insert key here. I just cut and paste it without looking at it, and essentially nothing would happen. And we spent all this time trying to fix it. Meanwhile, it was my error, right? Because I didn't see that I actually had to insert key here. And I would say, well, it didn't work. And then ChatGPT would like send me something else back with some kind of patch. And we go back and forth, back and forth. So sometimes you need to be able to say, whoa, pump the brakes. Let's just like analyze everything before we go any further. And then you have to have a look at it yourself. I'm like, oh, I didn't insert the public anon key. So that's why this is not working. I insert the public anon key and poof, everything works tickety-boo. All right. So what did I learn and what would I do different? And how can you actually build your own app? First of all, you need the concept, which I had. I had pretty well had the whole concept laid out, how I wanted the UI, generally speaking, to look, how I wanted the flow of the app to work, I had done all of that. So that is great. And number two, you have to look at assembling your AI team. So in this case, I use ChatGPT. Think of ChatGPT as having a few different roles, but almost more of a consultant, someone who analyzes the code, analyzes the flow, analyzes the actual business plan, gives you general suggestions, and you both kind of go back and forth until you come to an understanding and an agreement on how you want things to move forward. I would definitely have ChatGPT in on the beginning. Secondly, I would definitely look at using a company like MGX again, although I don't think I would use MGX. I only potentially would in the future because I have a bunch of credit, but I would use like the very basic version, the cheapest version of it. I would take essentially the template that ChatGPT and I put together. I stick it into like an MGX. I would get like the basic code done, and then I would bring it back to ChatGPT to analyze it, and then we would finish it off. And once you have that basic code, you and ChatGPT can finish it off. All you need is like a tool like Visual Studio, open an account with GitHub, and then that repository is connected to a company like Vercel, and Vercel takes all of that code that is sitting in your repository and is able to push it into a live site. In the case of our live site, it is the accidentalretiree.app. And I guess finally how I really ended up pulling this off, well, I'm a pretty persistent guy, and so I kept at it. If there was days where I was hitting the wall, you got to just unplug. So be prepared to unplug and come back at it the next day. Otherwise, you're just going to drive yourself crazy. And probably the last thing that I learned through this entire process is sometimes you have to take a little bit of control and push back on the process. For example, just this last iteration of the app, I'm working on some back-end stuff, which is more for my purposes. And we were just going back and forth and back and forth. Finally, I just suggested no more. We're trying to fix this thing. I think we need to re-implement the last code that was actually working and start from fresh. And then, ChatGPT agreed. So that's exactly what we did. And then literally 20 minutes later, we had a working backend that was literally a dream. This is just too short of a video to get into everything. The bottom line is you follow my basic guidelines of just, being prepared, having that business plan, building your AI team, thinking about your AI, just not depending on one AI, actually using different AIs for different purposes. And having one core AI, and for my purposes, I like to use ChatGPT, is basically my CTO, my Chief Technical Officer, and everything in between, right? That has really worked for me. But just don't go at it willy-nilly, throwing shit at the wall, because eventually it's not going to stick. It definitely won't stick. You're going to drive yourself crazy. All right, so I know there's going to be some people saying, okay, thanks, Joel, for the the coding stuff and how you built your app, but what the heck does this have to do with retirement? Well, it comes down to having, again, as I said earlier in this video, a purpose, something to do. And you know what? It's never too late to get kind of into the game. Have a little bit of fun. I'm having fun with this. I know I do actually have some ideas where I think I can actually make money with some apps. So I'm going to spend some time doing that. And because when it comes down to it, I think we've got maybe 2 years at most before AI gets to the point where it's really not going to need us. So there's a short and small window of time for us to kind of get into the game, use AI to our advantage, while everyone else is kind of sitting on the sideline snoozing. So just because you're retired doesn't mean that you're dead. And there's nothing more exciting than being part of something like this. This is just so revolutionary in so many ways that it just literally freaks me out sometimes when I think, what I was actually able to do just by myself using these AI tools. It literally, guys, it's crazy. So we have this amazing opportunity now being retirees where we can get knee deep into the stuff and make the most out of it while there's still something to make. So before I sign off, I just want to give a shout out to Bici Bucerias. If you are in the Bucerias area and you're into cycling, go check those guys out, bicibucerias.com. And guys, if you want to win 150,000 Turkish Airlines miles, that's the whole purpose of why I built this app. And no, it's not too late. You got to get in the game now. And why do you need to do this? Because once we finish up stage 15, about a week or so later, I'm going to draw every single stage. So as long as you have answered a stage correctly, you're going to be entered into a draw for each stage to win $50 US and a $100 gift certificate from maravillanairid.com. So I'm giving away a lot of money. money. The most important thing is once you get through the 14 stages and we release the 15th stage video, you're going to have an opportunity to win 50,000 Turkish Airline miles if you solve that stage first. And then once 15 stages are done, we're going to go to stage 16, and this is going to be the craziest stage ever. It's going to be a real tough one to solve. Once stage 16 is open, then everyone is going to have an equal opportunity to solve it. So you got to get in the game now so you can have all those stages solved. You're going to have your chance to win 100,000 Turkish Airline miles. So start now. Get in the game. The accidentalretiree.app. Go sign up. All right, on that note, everybody, thanks again for joining me. I hope you found this video entertaining and helpful. All of the above. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Nos vemos, hasta luego, and adios desde Bucerias, Mexico.